Exploring.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the program. It's a Wednesday morning and great to be with you as always. Lovely topics being rolled out. We're going to look at ozone therapy with Brandon Terbanche. We're going to be talking toys for boys, model boats, but right now it's the big stressor. It's exam times, it's kicked off, and of course there's lots of stress in the home, not only with the ones that are writing the exams, but I think mom and dad are possibly even more stressed out. So we're going to look at that issue with an educational psychologist. His name is Dr. Ken Resnick, and we're going to talk about just how we can create a very calming environment for our loved ones and the little darlings in our lives that are going through such a stressful time, exam time, very especially the matriculants. How do we create a calming atmosphere? How do we support them without stressing them even more? Dr. Ken Resnick, morning, welcome to the program.
Morning, thanks, nice to be here.
Always a pleasure having you. I haven't talked with you in a long time, but it's the right time to have you in to talk about high stress levels, lots of panic, possibly, you know, high panic as well. What do we do as parents to create a very calming environment, and how do we support our children through this time?
I think one of the big things is not to put extra pressure on them. To find out, for instance, if they're not studying, why they're not studying, asking them how they're finding it, how they're feeling, is there anything that you could do, what are their feelings about how successful they're going to be in the exam, what they're struggling with. Get to try and understand how they're feeling and if there's something they'd like you to do.
It's a bit late to be doing all of that.
Absolutely, that is, definitely.
This should have started on day one when the school year began. What is the ideal scenario? What do we put in place from the start of the school year so that we do not have panic situations at this time of year?
I think the starting point is for the parent not to let it become their problem, where they constantly telling the child when to go and swat, sending the child for extra lessons, or I shouldn't call them children, they're young adults, and making all the arrangements to try and help the child maybe perform better without asking the child if they want to do it. And the important thing is to ask the child, what mark would they like to get? What are they aiming at? And to be supportive and try and understand. But if you're only aiming at 50, I just want to understand why. Is there anything I can do? So we've got to let the child know, and they need to feel safe talking to a parent rather than a parent overreacting. You know what, I think I'm going to have to send you to a psychologist. You're sounding too overstressed. I might have to bring somebody out to give you extra Afrikaans, and start making all the arrangements. Ask the child, what do they want? Are they okay? And what do they think they'll achieve? Get to just try and understand why they're so stressed and how you can be a support. It's not easy for parents, but that's the...
By asking them what they would like to achieve, aren't we perhaps giving them way too much choices? Should we be giving them that choice? Isn't it our duty as parents to tell them what we expect? But if we putting way too much expectation on them, are you then suggesting that we creating the stressful environment?
First of all, it's their life, and they've got to write the exam. And it's trying to understand why, for instance, if they aim low. By putting pressure on them, they're not going to improve their marks that much, because the pressure is there, and then you putting extra pressure on, it's just not going to help them. So the aim is, and I think we've touched on it before, is that we've got to create a situation where they want to achieve, where they realize, I have to work hard for me. It will please my mom, it'll please my family, but I have to set my goals higher. And if I can't, why can't I? That would be a self-esteem type of thing. But the moment mom and dad are expecting, we're going to have a bit of a problem. And I can't tell you how many parents I've seen that have come to see me with their child and say to me, you know, we're doing very badly at maths. And I say, who's we? And also they realise they're just so involved and so taking the child everywhere, often without realising they haven't even asked their child, do they want to go? Because children, a lot of them don't enjoy extra lessons. So we've got to create a climate where the child must understand it is their problem. And it's a good feeling if they work for themselves. But the moment we put that responsibility onto the parent, it definitely, I think, creates extra pressure for that child.
We are focusing on uni students because they've also started writing exams, and specifically matriculants, because there's high pressure and way too much drama, I believe, that is centered around matric, but perhaps rightly so, I don't know. But the point is, you are suggesting that we allow the child to make the choices and to determine the outcome of their results. At what age do we start communicating to them so that they understand what we're talking about, that they understand whatever and how, you know, however they achieve? If they achieve high marks, they're going to feel good about themselves. So it's not for mom and dad, it's for them. So at what stage or age do they understand this so that we can start communicating?
Grade 1. When they come home and they've got spelling to do and they've got reading to do, we don't sit there listening to them stumble over words. They've got to go and practice on their own with the understanding, if they're not reading well, if they make more than 2 mistakes, they're saying to you, you know, Mom, I haven't learned properly, I better go and learn again. Where they know what your boundary is. Spelling, you test them 10 words, they've got to get 8 right. If they don't get, they're saying to you, you know what, I didn't learn hard enough, I better go and learn harder. Once you've set those boundaries, they know what to expect when you're going to test them, because in grade 1 and 2 the parent is involved, especially with the reading, especially with the spelling. But we can't just sit there and when they start making mistakes, just pick them out or not get them to take responsibility. Because if a child can read the cat sat on the mat well, he can read the dog ran away with a bone well, with practice. And that's what you've got to do in a calm way, set a standard, what you expect, and you know what he can do. If his maths is written and he can write well, means that if he scribbles, he's saying to you, you know what, I didn't try my best here, I need to practice more. So we've got to set those guidelines to the children right from grade 1, so that eventually they realize, wow, you know, when I do learn, I mean, I know with the twins, they knew what the situation was with me. And I didn't take prisoners. They made more than 2 mistakes. They would just say, got to go and learn again. So they realized, if I'm going to test them, that's how it's got to be. So they made sure they knew their work. And by knowing their work, they were achieving. And it wasn't that difficult. It was about effort. But it wasn't with me keeping on sending them away or helping them or telling them how to spell a word. In other words, making learning and reading unpleasant.
Okay, you're talking about almost the perfect scenario or the perfect child. You know, children are different and you're going to get different reactions from different children in the same home. You're also probably going to get a child who throws tantrums, and of course we know why they're doing it, because they're manipulative and they're going to get a reaction out of you. They're going to wear you down. How do you deal with them? 2 totally different children in the same home, the one an achiever, the other one not.
See, I don't buy that. I believe all children feeling good about themselves and independent can achieve. Easily get 70% if they want to. So once the rules are the same and you're fair, well, the other one knows the rules. You find you'll eliminate that sort of problem. Because if you have that scenario where one is the clever one, the other one's not so bad, you're parenting them differently. And you're talking to them differently very often, and there are no proper boundaries and structures regarding effort, regarding consequences and stuff like that. And if you do it, remember, we're not trying to make like everybody the same personality. All we want children to do is to be independent and want to try their best. And every child's got the potential to do that. We as parents have to understand, how do we get that out of a child?
Not all children are academically inclined. So that takes me back to my previous question. I'm not going to get the same results out of both children. Despite my boundaries being in place, despite me supporting them, hopefully equally, I'm not going to get necessarily the same result.
Yeah, but you see, it's all about effort. Because they might not be academically inclined. It doesn't mean they can't read. It doesn't mean they can't study. and they can understand if they make the effort. We sort of say, because of their poor performance at school, and often we become over-involved with them, where they opt out, they leave it all to you to help them, for you to do all the homework, they'll sit and watch TV, and everybody's sort of, it's become everybody else's problem. And we sort of underestimating that, because children have the ability to read and to add up 3 and 4 with effort. If they can add up 3 and 4, they can add up 6 and 7. With effort. But once again, if we're allowing them to watch too much TV and they don't really like reading and they're not too mad about maths, and the next minute they've got some type of ADHD, and we make allowances and we sort of start believing this child, you know, he's like not the brightest in the family, and we play into that role of allowing him to opt out. But from my experience, I believe every human child certainly can read, write and do math. We're born with that potential and that ability. And if they can't, something's gone wrong early on. And you can find the answer there.
You also suggested a little earlier on in the interview that children are not happy about extra lessons, for example. And very especially, I spoke about the child that throws a tantrum. That child is manipulating the parents. And possibly there is a problem with that child, and that child needs to come to someone like you, an educational psychologist, to try and work out what's going on and what sort of support he needs. What does that do to his self-esteem? And if that's not fixed early enough, this is what we're going to be sitting with at this time of year. Mom and dad being stressed out, and the child being stressed out because he or she is sitting to write their exams, their matric or varsity exams.
Well, again, if you go back, temper tantrums is a choice. They're choosing to throw a tantrum. Why? Often it's because they just didn't get their own way, or they were building something and it broke and they just couldn't cope with that stress. So we've got to let children, we've got to be able to calm and know how to handle that situation. So the moment a child starts shouting and angry with parents, they're actually saying to Mom, you know what, I don't like this family. And then we get very sad. So we're always letting him feel, we're letting him know we love you. But you are allowed to not like your family, but it does mean that your room belongs to you, that you want to go and stay in your room for a while, because the rest of the house is ours. If you decide you'd like to like your family again, tell us. But he's going to his rooms. But the moment we're angry with a kid, and we bang heads with him, and we take him on, a lot of things collapses. They then become in charge, and we become a bit of a wreck.
So it's a total role reversal. They call the shots.
Exactly. And the manipulative kids are calling the shots, and they're in charge. And parents have to be, remember, parents are educators. So they've got to have some type of authority. And if they lose their authority by allowing the child to speak to them how they like, backchat them, etc., the kids are in charge, and we're going to have chaos.
Let's go for our first ad break. Dr. Ken Resnick is an educational psychologist. He's here talking about exam stress and manipulative kids. Stay with us.
تناجي الله في صبر وترجو رحمة تسري فعاش القلب إخلاصا وصرت تحو.
Be part of the preservation of the Book of Allah by sponsoring a Hafiz for only 1,500 rands per month or 18,000 rands per year. Contact the Al-Iman Foundation on 011 211 0302.
Protea Toyota celebrates 42 years of service to the Cape Town community. Established in 1973, Protea Toyota offers a full range of Toyota cars and light commercial vehicles, factory-trained technicians for servicing, and stock a full range of genuine Toyota parts. Protea Toyota, 189 Voortrekker Road, Bellville. Call 021 946 3324.
J. Junaid Jamshed proudly presents a wide variety of trendy clothing for men, women and kids with exquisite fragrances. Visit our outlet and gateway theatre of shopping in Durban and get all you want for the entire family.
Nasima Khan Properties, established in 2007, offers excellent sales in the Sandton area to clients looking for an investment as well as a new home. So whether you're selling, buying or renting, look no further than Nasima Khan Properties. We find you a tenant and manage your investment. Contact Nasima at the Michelangelo or visit www.nasimaproperty.co.za. Nasima Khan Properties, where we make business extraordinary. If you think you have what it takes to be an estate agent, contact Shazia on 084 635 7684. Jafmed Pharmacy. We are an exciting new pharmacy in your area. Come and visit us for all your acute and chronic prescriptions. We are contracted to all medical aids, open till 10 p.m. daily, and we deliver. Call us on 021 703 9791.
تعانق دمعة الفكر تناجي الله في صبر وترجو رحمة تسري فعاش القلب إخلاصا وصرت تحور.
We're going to talk ozone therapy with Brandon Terbanche a little later on in the show. We're also going to be looking at model boats, toys for boys. But right now we are talking exam stress, and we're talking about how to create a very calming situation in your home if you do have kids that stress out very, very easily. Dr. Ken Resnick, the issue around, look, it is Mental Health Awareness Month. There's a lot of focus on all different types of mental issues, but the two very big issues that we see playing out on a daily basis is anxiety and depression. Would I be correct in thinking that we're seeing more and more of anxiety and depression in children?
I don't think it's that we've all of a sudden that we're seeing it. It's always, I think it's always been there. It's getting worse, only because so many kids are sort of helpless. Too much is being done for them. They're opting out. They don't try their best. Parents are at a loss. And the norm has now become to send is for the child to go to therapy, have an assessment, and to have some sort of therapy or medication. Childhood depression is, for me, is really the culmination of a huge problem, because with ADHD, all of these disorders, the parents are not made to understand what they could be doing that's creating the problem. Because we're not trying to criticize parents. Parents are doing a job. They love their kids, they're doing their best, but they've got no real tools or understanding of what their role is, the majority of parents. But now with childhood anxiety, we're getting too many people involved, and the children are diagnosed symptomatically. And when I had a look the other day at all the symptoms like obesity, helplessness, sulking, etc., those things are caused from parenting. Who feeds a kid that makes him obese? Who allows a kid to just sulk if he doesn't get his own way because he can't watch TV? And you've normally got an anxious parent. But now you can just imagine a parent that actually doesn't understand that what they're doing is creating a child that's not coping well with his world, is becoming more and more anxious, more and more frightened, won't walk to the toilet on his own, etc. And now she hears that he's got depression, and he's got to be put on this quite heavy medication, anti-anxiety stuff, depression, you know, what adults take. How do they change their parenting? They make it worse, because they start making allowances. Shame he's depressed, you know. Let him watch another half hour of TV, and let's do more for him. He's going to battle at school, he's sitting, and so he becomes a focus on that child, which exacerbates the problem. Whereas all we've got to do is help that child cope more adequately with his world. Because what is a 6-year-old got to be depressed about and anxious? Accepting something going on at home that turns into sort of depression. But to me, it's a bit of a travesty, actually.
Let's look at the matric student and the uni student. Obviously, if they display signs of anxiety and depression, something needs to be done, because it is categorized as a mental illness, and they do need to be on meds. What's happening in their world, right, sitting for exams, being over anxious perhaps, or suffering from depression?
Look, it's very difficult for them, but often they can't talk to their parents. They might talk to their friends. Their parents might overreact, want them to go for therapy, become very
anxious. And sadly,
anxious.
there's a stigma attached to it as well.
And a stigma, and of course, there's a low self-esteem. A depressed person doesn't feel that strongly motivated, doesn't have that strong a belief in themselves, possibly has never made a choice, and now they've got to go next year into an unknown world and do something they don't have any idea what it's about. So few kids today have any idea what careers are about, and careers are changing. And they're not even motivated to go and do something because they've never had to make a choice. Now all of a sudden there's this big choice, and parents are now making the choice for them, telling them what they've got to go and study. They don't feel that motivated. They would rather maybe spend a gap year. They're not being listened to. They sit in their room a lot. They're listening to music, and parents have no idea how to handle that. Those are all signs of a child that's withdrawn, certainly withdrawing from the family. They might have issues. They might be loners. All of that is just a mental health problem. But
and if it's not adequately addressed, obviously you could have the risk of a suicide on your hands.
Suicide is when, it all has to do with how people, and children included, what meaning they give to their life. And if their life has no meaning, in other words, you know, what are we doing this for? I don't really have too many friends. I'm just watching TV. I just feel flat. And they lose their meaning in terms of their little world, because it's a pressurized world for adolescents today. They start giving up, so they'll go into depression, and the next step, they might threaten. Parents might overreact. They've heard a child say once, I want to kill myself. Wow, send the child off. And what's happened is they've lost trust with authority anyhow, and they're not opening up. But the signs are there. But parents are not properly helped to try and get this child, because already at 16 and 17, they're young adults. So their personality has been ingrained. The depression is quite set in. But we've got to help that child to open up and to try and find some better meaning in their life. But they've got to need to want to open up.
And sadly, if this is not addressed, every year without fail, after the matric results come out, we hear of 1 or 2 suicides by matric students, simply because, as you've said, they fail the matric exam and they believe that life has absolutely no meaning. Recently, we've heard of a academic at one of the universities, a high-flying academic who committed suicide. That's obviously, we're talking mental health issues, and we've heard of varsity students committing suicide as well. I think the one girl was raped and she committed suicide. So lots going wrong in our world.
No question about it. And the problem is that it's a choice, suicide. But where's that child's mind? What's his little world about? It's not a happy world. He's got to trust somebody. You know, I say one thing to kids. When you're having a clash with parents or with authority, find an adult that you trust that you can talk to. But don't talk to your friends, because normally their friends are similar to them, or with similar problems, you know, hating the adult world, hating authority, and ultimately nothing goes right for them. Nobody loves me, and they go into that little tunnel. And it's really difficult, especially when parents are not given any guidance on how to deal with that child. So they might try and overcompensate or over-allow, or just put up with the child talking badly, having attitude, and nobody's actually helping them. But there is a reason. There is a reason. That child has lost meaning to his life at that point. It might be a simple thing as a relationship, where at home he's never felt understood, got involved with a young girl that's becomes his life, and then she moves on, and his world falls apart. You know, with teenagers, their little world is pretty much like, you know,
a very little world.
It's a little world that causes them a lot of grief, especially when they've got a close friendship, or fall in love, or reveal some part of themselves that might cause shame to the family. And they don't know how to deal with that. And of course, parents react. They react, and they may help that child feel rejected without trying to understand. You know, why is this child? What do you see in this girl? Look at her. She comes from a bad home, and why? So we've got to try and get kids making choices. And when they do make these bad choices in a bad crowd, for instance, why are they choosing to be in that bad crowd? What is the attraction? But that is a little spiral that they go down. That could achieve, you know, that could affect them later on. But
isn't it about the choices they've made, or is it a combination of the bad home situation, perhaps, feeling unloved, feeling neglected, and being welcomed with open arms in that bad crowd?
Now, you see, the bad crowd also got issues at home. You know, I always love it when parents tell me their kid's in a bad crowd. I said, yeah, but all the parents of the kids in a bad crowd will blame the rest of the kids.
Blame each other.
Yeah, they blame, but you know, my kid's not a bad crowd. But there's something that's attracting that child. And then we often be telling them what to do. We're not allowing them. We're gating them. They've got no choice. Now, if we don't allow kids to make choices and take consequences, they grow up not knowing how to make choices. They've had to listen to their parents, and no person likes to be spoken down to like this. And as a result, parents says black, they're going to say white, just because.
Okay, let's get back to matric. Let's get back to exams. Let's assume two scenarios: a very well-balanced household and a household where you have over-anxious children, possibly on the verge of depression. How do we deal with the two situations at this point in time, knowing that everyone's into their final exams?
It's very difficult because it's a bit too late, actually. We're right there. You know, it's like you jumped off the cliff and said, "Ooh, what have I done?"
What can we do to step back, not to exacerbate the situation?
It's a huge problem because genuinely the exams are here, the preparation should be done. At this stage, it should just be revision. If they all of a sudden left a subject line starting and mom is getting herself into a bit of a state and onto their case because the mom wants them to do better, they must try and step back because that is too late. It's going to add extra pressure. We've just got to try and help that kid.
Probably say to him, do the best you can.
Do the best
We're here for you, whatever the outcome.
Exactly.
Any, with a minute to go, any special tips that you'd like to give out?
I think the important thing is to somehow be prepared. It's only I can say, if they're not prepared right at this point in time, at least just try and revise and know how to study. Understand keywords, just know how to summarize, practice if it's maths, just practice it every day. But it's
relax and give it your best shot.
Have breaks. Don't sit for 4 hours. It's not going to help you one bit.
Well, on that note, then we have to leave this interview, as interesting as it is. You should have had your ducks in a row right from the start of the year. But good luck anyway to everybody sitting their exams, whether you're in matric, whether you're in uni, or even one of the lower grades. We're all saying a very, very big and a special prayer for you.
تناجي الله في صبر وترجو رحمة تسري فعاش القلب إخلاصا وصرت تحو.
Orient Hotel, in the heart of Fordsburg. View our recently renovated rooms and book online. orienthotel.co.za.
Pop, squeeze and enjoy. HQ Foods, the Cape's finest quality sauces made with love. For that perfect match between quality and perfection, call us now on 021 797 0414. HQ Foods, from our kitchen to yours. Join the conversation. Like us on Facebook, ITV Networks. Follow us on Twitter at ITV_SA. Keep up to date with all the programming and subscribe to our YouTube channel, ITV Networks.
Put the volume and bounce back in your hair with the Lemmerer-inspired shampoo range. The secret is out.
Are you planning to perform Umrah? Then call Shaw Mirage Travel for their super Umrah specials. Inquire about their leisure and honeymoon packages to Mauritius, Maldives, Phuket, Singapore or Turkey. We're now connected to 124 leading hotel brands with real-time access to more than 130,000 hotels in over 10,000 cities worldwide. Call Durban 031 208 4222 or visit miragetravel.co.za.
Islamia College in Cape Town is the largest independent Islamic school in the Southern Hemisphere, with 5 components: pre-primary school, primary school, boys' high school, girls' high school, Hifz Academy, as well as extracurricular sport. There are financial constraints that often prevent worthy students of having access to our institution. With your generosity, we, inshallah, intend to provide an opportunity to as many learners as possible to benefit from what Islamia College has to offer.
لا يزال الخير حيا لا يزال إن في الدنيا سلاما وظلال أخبر الأيام أنها في وصال قم بنا وانظر لآيات الجمال قم بنا وانظر لآيات الجمال. كن كما غيث على الأفياء ماطر، صوته يروي قلوبا وخواطر، نفعه عم البوادي والحواضر. قم بنا وانظر لآيات الجمال، قم بنا وانظر لآيات الجمال. لا يزال الخير حيا لا يزال، إن في الدنيا سلاما وظلال. أخبر الأيام أنها في وصال، قم بنا وانظر لآيات الجمال، قم بنا وانظر لآيات الجمال. املأ الأرواح حبا أبيضا، وانسى آلاما قضت فيما مضى. هذه الأيام تحلو بالرضا، قم بنا وانظر لآيات الجمال، قم بنا وانظر لآيات الجمال.
Park Avenue Stationers, your office supply specialist. Home to friendly staff and unbeatable prices. We are situated in Fordsburg Garden Route, Plettenberg Bay and Cape Town, and offer a next day delivery service. We are stockist of all office and school stationery, art supplies, printers, cartridges and toners, including a wide range of fine writing pens such as Parker and Cross. We provide a wide range of printing, branding, name badges and engraving. We are also proud to boast our in-house rubber stamp department, where we offer rubber stamps while you wait.
Are you importing or exporting products for your business? Why don't you contact Fourway for an innovative logistics solution? Sea, air, rail or road, Fourway has a solution for you.
The Al-Huda Orphanage in Indonesia, Extension 13, provides hands-on care in a loving and nurturing environment to our orphans by providing them admission into the best schools with uniforms and stationery, regular excursions, medical and dental care, and so much more. Earn great rewards in this world and in the hereafter by sponsoring an orphan for only 1,500 Rand per month. Contact us today on 011 854 2232.
Wanted to spoil that someone special? Give them a gift from Gifts for You and let them remember you. We stock the largest range of designer fragrances in South Africa and will beat any price. Free delivery anywhere in South Africa.
صحبي هيا أقبلوا جاروا، يملأ الأكوان نورا وضياء، والتحايا لبنات رابع، أنتم اليوم نجوما في السماء، أنتم اليوم نجوما في السماء، وسعيتم للفلاح جاهدين، وتعاونتم بحب وإخاء. ربي بلغهم ثواب الصابرين، كي يذوقوا فرحة بعد عنا، كي يذوقوا فرحة بعد عنا. كم تسابقتم مع طير الصباح، وتناديتم بحيا للفلاح، للمصلى كنتم مثل الجناح، كطيور عانقت نجم الفضاء، كطيور عانقت نجم الفضاء. في المصلى نحن للخير لواء، قد تعاوننا على البر سوا، فبنيناه بطوب من عطاء، وفرشناه بحب وإخاء، وفرشناه بحب وإخاء. بقلوب قد بنت خير الفريق، لن ترى بأسا ولا هما وضيق. هكذا في الله حبا يرتوي، منه قلبا قد قضى العمر شقا، منه قلبا قد قضى العمر شقا. نحن لم نرضى طريق المفسدين، وسعينا لنكون مصلحين فاعلموا يا إخوتي علم اليقين غير فردوس فلا نبغي اللقاء غير فردوس فلا نبغي اللقاء
تذكر يوما كنت تعانق دمعة الفكر تناجي الله في صبر وترجو رحمة تسري فعاش القلب إخلاصا وصرت تحوم.
Welcome, and we have quite a display in studio right now. We have an associate professor of chemistry at Wits University, and he's going to be talking about his hobby. I mean, I asked the question, what is an associate professor of chemistry doing playing with boats? But he's going to tell us all about that with his friend, who is Bill Williams, the chairman of the Centurion Model Boat Club, and Andreas is the chairperson at the Gauteng Model Boat Club. I didn't know that this was such a big thing in and around Johannesburg and Pretoria, and they're here to tell us all about it. Welcome, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Julie.
This is huge. This is really about toys for boys and keeping the boys out of trouble, is it not?
It is indeed. Toys for boys is a very good analogy, but it's also toys for older men as well, if I can put it like that.
I'm referring to the older men when I say boys.
Exactly. And I think the interest in this hobby comes about from, if you have an interest in boats or in ships, like real life ships, you can't obviously own one of those or have it in your pool, so you buy a kit, a scaled down version of that model. And you'll find that it has exactly the same functionalities and the way it operates as the real life thing.
Wow.
So it's a way of bringing your passion, your interest into your working area.
Bill, you are a retired person enjoying your retirement years, but it's obviously very fulfilling for you because you've now all the time in the world that you had or didn't have in the past, you can now put into your passion, and this is your passion. How did this start for you?
Oh, it started at a very young age, Julie. Yeah, possibly around about 6. And during life happens, and you get interested in girls and you lose interest in models. And then it moves on from there, where you're never too old to have a happy childhood, so you migrate back to models. Yeah.
Okay. We talk about models here, and I should imagine just by looking at it, obviously you build it from scratch, but I also see all the amazing parts that go in here. There's a lot of electricals, and I should imagine lots of configuration that goes into it. I presume it comes in kit form, but I also should imagine there's huge costs involved.
A substantial amount of costs, yeah. There's a difference between scratch building and kit building. Kit is
what are we talking about here?
These are 2 kits.
Okay.
Okay, but scratch building is building something from literally nothing. Just raw materials, pieces of wood, pieces of plastic and things like that.
Could you do that?
Oh yes, of course. Kits are something that you buy in a box and then you assemble the parts according to the manufacturer's requirements or design, put it that way.
How did you get started?
So I think the interest, as with many interests, you get it from your father. So my father was always interested in radio control, and he built little glide planes with me as a child, and which was a really enjoyable bonding experience. And eventually, I think I always had an interest in boats. So I joined a boat club that we had in Lemmerer a very long time ago. We used to go to model stores, go on the internet, and I eventually got my own collection started of some model boats, and from there you can never have just one boat. It's impossible.
How many boats do you have?
About 6.
And all different shapes and sizes?
Oh yes, from submarines to warships, yes.
So obviously you guys belong to model boat clubs. You need to be close to water, to a dam or a lake, etc. And the whole idea is that you build them from a kit, and then you go out and play with them.
That's right.
You take them to water,
yes.
right? What else is involved? Are there competitions that you have, and what would the competitions then look to judge? Is it the way you've put the boat together, and is it water worthy, if that's the right terminology to be using? What goes on? Because it just can't be about building the kit, taking it to the water, letting it out on the water for a little while, and then happily ever after.
Julie, there are various aspects of the club. One aspect of our club in Centurion is that it's a very social club. So you build your boat and you bring it down to the club, and you socialize with other persons of like-minded, as they say, like-minded people who have an interest in model boating. We don't have any racing as such. Yes, we do have fast electrics in our club, and we do have yachts in our club, which are sailboats, as they're commonly referred to. But it's more of a social aspect to get away from the hustle and bustle of life as such and relax with other people, yeah.
But there is an edge of competitiveness involved. What would that be? Yes.
I can easily answer that question. So what happens, especially overseas, is that they've got competitions like tug towing competitions. So you'll see one of the models there is a tugboat, and what they do is they build a barge or something that can be towed, and then they give up an obstacle course. And they see how well can you move your barge around this obstacle course without making too many corrections or hitting anything.
Remotely.
Okay. And those are actual, real worldwide competitions that happen, and they've got them for different boats and the like. So there is that aspect there. And also, there are overseas, there are model boat shows. And they are also judges with criteria who look at the finish of the boat, the workmanship, the detail that has been made.
Even though it's from kit.
Even though it's from kit. So they
so you can get it wrong even though you're working according to instructions.
Absolutely. I think, as Bill would often say, you don't need patience if you're passionate about something. So it just works really well.
Okay, now you spoke about a barge. Is that what we're talking about?
So this is a tugboat. So
that's a tugboat.
That's a tugboat, and this is what you would find in almost every harbour area. If you look at like large container ships or even passenger liners, they're not very manoeuvrable in a small area. So what you have is got these tugboats that come out, 3 or 4 of them, and they sort of push the boat around at a very slow speed. Also, very importantly, a boat doesn't really have, or a ship doesn't really have a brake. So you'll often have tugboats just to make sure that it moves at a very slow pace.
I've always wondered about that when I, on TV or when I have been to Durban, and you see these tugboats maneuvering these gigantic ships into the harbour, and I've wondered about the just how is it possible that that little tugboat is able to maneuver this gigantic ship into place? It's quite a marvel, is it not?
They're very powerful. Well, one of the most powerful tugs in the world was the John Ross, which is now changed its name. It's stationed at Simonstown, but it's got a 200-ton bollard pull. That means it can pull a weight of 200 tons.
Does that mean there's an engine or something?
Yes, on the propeller.
Right, okay.
So tugs are very powerful things, and this particular tug is what's known as a Voice Snyder drive propulsion system. It's very maneuverable. It's not like the conventional tug that has a propeller like the submarine. So it can move in any direction, forward, backward, sideways. And that's the advantage of that kind of tug, which is why we brought it today.
And the job of the tug is really about maneuvering these gigantic ships into place. It's not used for any other purpose, not fishing or any other such thing.
No.
Okay.
They also often get used, if you look at, for example, an oil rig. They're constructed obviously on the shore.
Right.
And then they usually have what they call ocean-going tugs.
Which would take the oil rigs out.
Which would take it out thousands of kilometers to the right position, and because they're very maneuverable.
Like in the northern seas, for example.
Exactly. So the way a tugboat works, it's like a bucky. compared to a Ferrari. All right. A bakkie doesn't go very fast, but it's got a lot of pulling power, it's got a lot of torque that it can pull a caravan and a boat. The same thing with a tugboat. It's not going to go very fast, but there's almost nothing that can stop it going forward.
Wow.
And that's the whole joy of tugboats.
And we've got models here, but let's just go to the real life situation. I have no doubt in my mind that you guys are absolutely fanatical about your model building and your role at your clubs. But of course that does then suggest you have a very, very keen interest in real life tugs and ships and boats of all kinds.
Yes, very much
Indeed.
so.
For example, as Bill alluded to, Simonstown is obviously a big harbour area. It's also where our Navy is located.
Right.
And every year they've got a festival where the public can go and see the boats, go into a submarine. And in actual fact, South Africa, or the South African Navy, has a tugboat very similar to the one that I've brought you here. And it has the same sort of very intricate maneuverability, which we'll show you later on. And I just needed to get on that. And then what they do is, because the tugboat is so maneuverable, you can make it spin on a dime, and you can make it swing and swing. And I just had the most fun actually experiencing the real life experience.
I have no doubt that you guys attend that festival on a regular basis.
No, not anymore. Unfortunately, the Navy discontinued the festival.
Oh, okay.
We used to exhibit our boats and travel from here to Cape Town every year in order to exhibit and show other people the models. But it doesn't happen anymore. The Navy's changed over the years.
All right,
But
so you can't show off your handiwork.
No, but we do have our own exhibitions.
Okay, brilliant.
Yeah.
I will attend the next one. You let me know when. Let's go for our first ad break. We're talking model boats, and of course we're talking toys for boys, and I'm sure it's a very expensive hobby. They're going to show us how it works right after the ad break.
الفكر تناجي الله في صبر وترجو رحمة تسري فعاش القلب إخلاصا وصرت تحو.
Keep yourself and the kids happy this winter because we at International Brands Outlet have got you covered. With the dopest brands from Polo to Converse sneakers and a whole lot in between to keep you covered winter and summer, IBO will ease you into the office all the weekend in style. With a range of products to keep the kids, mom and dad happy. Afford your true self with International Brands Outlet. IBO, affordable quality and style.
The Institute for Economic and Social Upliftment presents a blueprint and call of action to end poverty and to ensure a more equal distribution of wealth in South Africa. The IESU manifesto has 7 main pillars. Basic income grant of 1,500 rands per month per person for every family earning less than 15,000 rands per month. Free education up to university level. Free quality healthcare, subsidized quality housing of a size of at least 20 square meters per person in the house. Free training and opportunities for employment or to start your own small business or agriculture on your own land to be allocated by the state. Tools of the trade to be funded by the state. CEE plan to give each person 500,000 rands in today's value over 20 years. Reparations of a further 1 million rand in today's value over 20-year period for HDIs. Visit www.iesu.com for more details. Our target is 10 million members to make this a reality.
تناجي الله في صبر وترجو رحمة تسري فعاش القلب إخلاصا وصرت تحو.
Welcome back. And gee whiz, you know, even off air, I've been having so much of fun. I'm not a boy, but I can imagine all the guys watching this show must be so excited about it, very especially those guys who like tinkering. You know, I'm thinking my sons who loved Lego from a very early age, something like this would speak to them in a big way, and perhaps, just perhaps, they should be introduced to model boats. Is that what it's called, model boats?
Yes, very much so.
But it's more than that, way more than that, is it not?
It's a passion.
Okay. You spoke about having about 6 boats that you've built over time.
No, a lot more than 6 that I've built over time.
I'm talking recent time.
That's 6 boats that I've got in my workshop at the moment.
How long have you had them for?
Oh, since 2000.
Okay, now once you buy a kit, does this tug belong to you?
So this belongs to me. In actual fact, because Bill and I are such close friends, Bill actually assembled this tugboat. And I think, as you alluded to, the great fun is actually in assembling the boat, which can take, as I told you, up anything from 6 months to a year of tinkering on the weekends for a few hours just to unwind from the stresses of life and just concentrate on something.
And look at your work of art.
Exactly.
Because this is a work of art at the end of the day. Would you ever, do you sell on once you're tired of, let's assume you have this, you know, in your workshop or in your special, you probably have a special room for this, and you keep it for about a year or 2, and then you decide you want to buy another kit. Would you sell this on, and are there buyers in the market?
Indeed. As Bill said, he had his fun with it, and everybody has their fun with their boats, and then I think it's a great thing to then pass it on to someone else who will actually then make use of it. Some boats can gather dust after many years, and it's an injustice to the boat and to the hobby to just keep it in your workshop. You want to be out there and you want to be enjoying it.
Do they eventually end up becoming, or certain of these boats, do they end up becoming collector's pieces?
In some ways, yes. Depending upon the complexity of the model, it can be a collector's piece. Yes, very much so, Julie.
Wonderful. What are you going to show us here? It's fully assembled, but there's got to be special stuff that we can admire and, you know, just understand how truly this does equate to a piece of art.
I will gladly show that to you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch on the tugboat, and then I'll show you a little bit about what makes this boat so special and why I decided to bring it in. So you can see they come with lights.
How delightful.
Yes. And what you'll see if you focus at the bottom of the hull, you'll see that it doesn't really have a propeller or a rudder as before. So what happens actually, if I now switch it on, you can see the bottom part is turning. And then if you look closely, you can see how actually the whole shape of the bottom part is actually changing shape as I'm moving it around. And to describe it easily to your public is that a conventional boat would be like a conventional airplane that's got, you know, a propeller in the front and then wings to make it fly and move forward. This is like a helicopter.
Okay.
So in a helicopter, you've got blades that turn and they change the angle at different positions, which will give you going up or sideways, whatever. In the same way here, you've got these rotating blades in the water. And if they're just at a certain angle, it will just stay stationary. And as you change the pitch and the angle of these blades, it either starts pushing you left or right or backwards and forwards. So as I explained to you when I was in Simonstown, one of the joys about this boat is that you can actually make it move sideways. And as you move it sideways, it actually swings like a thing, and that just is a wonderful experience.
That's pretty expensive. I mean, it must cost a good few thousand rands, and given the time that you've put into it, would you actually take it to water? And you do. No chance of it getting damaged or anything?
It happens.
It may. How long would you kind of keep it in the... So you'd go either to Lemmerer Dam or to the dam closest to you. What's the spectator value like when you go and, you know, take this... Great.
Yes, very good. Especially a boat like this that can maneuver like that, and also the submarines. Very topical and very, where is it? Where is the boat? When you submerge the boat, because it's a fully functional submarine. they often say, you know, can you make it dive? And we make it dive and we bring it up to the surface.
And
yes.
that attention must give you so much joy.
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
Because your handiwork's being admired
That's
and
right.
appreciated.
Yes, very much
that's
so.
what it's all about. Talk to us about the submarine. Are there still submarines in the world these days?
Yes, very much so.
Spying on each country spying on the other?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Talk to us about this.
Right. This submarine is what's known as a static dive unit. It can dive statically, vertically up and down. It's not a dynamic diver that needs forward motion. The propeller is driven from a little motor inside and it's all battery powered. The propeller goes round and round, and then the controls of the sub are done with the rudders.
Oh, I see it's moving.
And then it's got what's known as a pitch and depth controller, which maintains the submarine at a certain depth. And that is controlled. As you see, as I turn the submarine up and down like this, the rudders move around. And that's what it is. So you suck water in pretty much like a syringe into a tank, and then you push it out again, and that makes it dive and submerge.
And whose handiwork was the submarine, and how long did it take to assemble?
This one is about 6 months' work. It was a very well-made kit from a German company. Yeah, it's a company called Alexander Engel in Germany, and I brought the kit back with me on a trip.
People watching us today may decide, this is what I'd like to do. I've always had a passion. I know there are people who build model planes, so it's a similar concept, obviously. How do they get started? What's the advice you'd give them? But before you go there, I see there's like a little boat here as well. What's that all about, a rowing boat?
So that is actually mine, and it's a nice little thing. It's a fully functional rowboat, so you can actually make the oars move as it's going through the water, and it's a great crowd pleaser as well, but you need very still water.
Okay.
When you talked about, you know, the public and whatever, one of the things that I personally enjoy doing is that these boats, or this tugboat, actually can spray water.
Spray water. Yes, of course, I did see that on TV. And from the top somewhere,
that's right? Yes, that's right. And so as soon as I see a couple with young children or whatever coming close to the shoreline, I sort of sneak up on them, and then I sort of give them a short spray, and the children love it, you know, and then the parents go, you know, well done, and they say, spray them a little bit more. And,
right.
And that's how people really appreciate, you know.
So it's hours and hours of building, obviously, but then hours and hours of pleasure as well.
Absolutely.
How do people get started? What are they in for financially?
They should join a club, first of all, to get involved with the people that are active in the model building industry, or more model boats per se.
As for the support and advice, etc.
Yes, very much so. And it doesn't need to be expensive, Julie. A lot of kids join and start scratch building with very, very little. It doesn't need to be expensive.
Scratch building, what does that mean?
Building from nothing.
Okay.
So a piece of wood.
Is that your advice? Start with scratch building and then graduate onto kits?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. So there are magazines, monthly magazines for interest, and they generally feature basically a plan. Maybe it's A3 sized, and it says, buy these pieces of wood.
For scratch building.
For scratch building, and then basically you buy the wood, you cut it, you saw it, you glue it together, and it's a real. I would almost say it's very similar to like building with Lego. You know, you can buy the Lego kit, and then you can build a fire station, whatever, or you can just take those pieces and just let your imagination flow. And that's, I think, how the younger generation can get started, and I think it would be very beneficial. It teaches them hand coordination skills as well, you know, and it's something that teaches patience, because instant gratification is what kids crave, but also needs to be taught to be aware that it's not always possible.
Okay. Have you ever had situations where you bought the kit, it might have been pretty expensive, from what you tell me it runs into a couple of $1,000, and things just don't work out, you just cannot get the boat together. Has that ever happened, and what do you do then?
You go and look for professional advice.
Okay.
Yes, it has happened. I do a lot of work for a lot of other people where they have difficulties in assembling the model or getting it to work.
Even though there's illustrations.
Oh yes, very much so. A lot of people are keen on the hobby but don't have the skills. And it's trying to teach them those skills, Julie, that makes the difference.
And the skills
and
being?
it builds the passion.
Skills being?
The ability to put the thing together.
Okay, so you've got to actually work it out in your head, and you've got to visualize it, and you need to have the fine motor skills, etc. So it kind of involves all of these things.
Yes, absolutely. So you get different, let's say, skill levels. I would say that these two boats are what you would call for a very advanced modeler, and you get like intermediate modelers and the like. And you will often find that you need to be able to saw across a line very correctly, or you need to cut something out, or especially the painting, you need to prepare the surface. And these things, some people are better at than others, and then often it can become like a collective effort. Somebody who's very good at painting might take the finished model and then paint it for you because he enjoys it, and you might actually learn something from that person as well. So even though most of the time it's just you yourself in the evening, as you're building it, you will bring it to the dam every week or every month, and you'll show the progress. And it's just a wonderful, it's socializing on the water and off.
Wow. Okay. Guys, we have a minute to wrap up. Final words from you, Bill.
Join a club, get involved. It's a passion, and it's a very beautiful hobby to be involved in, yes.
And the whole family can get involved.
Oh, yeah, without a question.
Oh,
very
wonderful.
Important social aspect of bringing the family together on a Sunday. Come and join us.
Wonderful, Andreas.
And on the Sunday, we're actually having our annual exhibition day this coming Sunday at Lemmerer Dam.
At Lemmerer? At what time? I'll be there.
It'll be from 11 till 4 p.m. We've got a Facebook page that says Gauteng Model Boat Club 3rd Annual Exhibition Day. You're welcome to say going or interested. We've already got 200 people interested. We've advertised widely. And if anybody comes from 11 till 4, they can see, I would say, at least 40 boats.
So does one have to RSVP, or do you just pitch there?
You just arrive.
You just arrive.
You just arrive.
Wonderful. I definitely will see you 11 to 4, you said.
11 to 4.
Any time between that time, I certainly will be there. Guys, thank you very much for giving us a peek into your world, which is absolutely fascinating and undoubtedly amazing toys for boys. Thank you indeed.
Julie.
Thank you, Julie.
Thank you to our producer, Nadia, as well, of course, because she came up with this wonderful concept. And next on the show, we're going to talk ozone therapy. Thank you for watching this. I'm so fascinated. And I do hope that you're going to take a very keen interest in this amazing hobby.
الفكر تناجي الله في صبر وترجو رحمة تسري فعاش القلب إخلاصا وصرت تحو.
With a multitude of outlets and automotive services products to choose from, it's difficult to make an informed choice about where to take your vehicle for a new set of tyres, mags, shocks, or any other product you may need. That's why we at Evolution have provided you with a state-of-the-art facility stocked to the hilt with a wide array of automotive services and products, guaranteed to satisfy even the most discerning customers. What's more, you pay less. The folks at Evolution have invested millions in ensuring that you, as our premium customer, experiences an enhanced level of satisfaction every time you visit our premium facility.
The reason for our starting Evolution Wheeler and Tyre was to create a facility where we can give our customers safe, secure parking and providing our women customers in particular with comfortable seating facility which they can obviously utilize while their cars are being worked on. We want customers to feel that we give them value for money by providing them with a quality product, quality service at a fair price. We want customers to feel that we've given them royal treatment and we've given them a fair price for what they purchased from us.
From shop floor to customer lounge, we have designed the service experience for you. Here at Evolution, our service teams jump into action at any of the 9 bays to attend to working on your new tyres, shocks, mags, or a host of other services, backed by decades of hands-on experience in the automotive industry. fully supervised by department heads, our aim is to get the job done properly, professionally and on time. All this is done while providing customers with the best prices for products and services in the industry. In fact, you'll be hard-pressed to find lower prices anywhere on a range of parts and accessories we stock in-house. In some instances, we at Evolution have scoured other countries for products such as tyres, which are manufactured to the highest international specifications and that have been imported by us to sell to our customers at a price advantage.
So we wanted customers to feel that they can come into a clean store whereby they wouldn't be in the forefront of all the grease and dirty stuff that happens in the workshop. Evolution Wheel and Tyre wanted to create an experience that is unmatched with any other tyre fitment center by offering comfortable waiting areas, giving our customers free coffee and Wi-Fi, and giving them quality products with unmatchable service at the best possible value. And we feel that the cornerstone of our business is giving the customer good products at fair value.
Located close to Johannesburg, just off the M2 in Boysons, Evolution is positioned in a prime location close to the highway, providing clients with easy access. Visit Evolution and be guaranteed of a unique experience, combined with a commitment from us to provide excellent service, premium products and prices you'll find difficult to resist. Watch out for our specials and client rewards program, including a host of new road safety tips. Experience quality. Experience innovation. Experience evolution.
واليوم جينا نحتفل معك بالحان بالمركز الأول بأحلى الهدايا أبهرتي العالم وإبداعك يبان يا أحسن قناة بالعرب يا بداية يا أحسن قناة بالعرب يا بداية واليوم جينا نحتفل معك بالحان بالمركز الأول بأحلى الهدايا أبهرتي العالم وإبداعك يبان يا أحسن قناة بالعرب يا بداية يا أحسن قناة بالعرب يا بداية.
Spa Serene and Nadia's Thai Massage offers 5-star treatments with the international products used with all our specialized treatments. Be it our Thai massages, foot massages, manicures, pedicures, Regime A facials, cupping, ear candling, or lash lifting. We have on-site security 24 hours. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram or call us on 011 830 1022 or 011 0386 813.
تذكر يوما كنت تعانق دمعة الفكر تناجي الله في صبر وترجو رحمة تسري فعاش القلب إخلاصا وصرت تحو.
And welcome back. We're now going to be talking ozone therapy with Brandon Terbanche. He's the sales executive and the communications person at the company. And we also have the lovely Bridget Cave to talk about her charity. So all of that in the final segment of the show. Morning, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having us here.
Lovely to have you. Very excited about ozone therapy. I've heard about it in the past, but kind of wondering, how has it taken off? Is it as relevant as kind of 5 years ago? Is it growing by leaps and bounds?
Yeah. Well, if we compare about 5 years ago and where we are today, it's a massive difference. In the product itself, we innovate and adapt and improvise on a daily basis for every person's need and his health purposes. So where we are today, we are quite happy, and that's why we're here today to discuss ozone therapy and a person's individual health problems, struggling with all sorts of ailments, diseases. That's a problem in South Africa and all over the world.
I've heard about bariatric, I think, therapy in the past. Is there any similarity, or is it two totally different entities?
Yeah, it's we call it hyperbarical chamber.
There you go, yes, the chambers.
We have that as well as a product, but mostly our most common product is the ozone steam sauna. So it's a product, you will see the pictures on the screen right now. It's a tent that you sit inside with the head sticking out. On your left-hand side, you have a steamer that heats up the body. On the right-hand side, you have your oxygen concentrator that feeds your ozonator that releases this oxygen inside of this unit. And this is what ozone is all about. It's getting this type of oxygen, it's a super oxygen. Pure oxygen inside the body. Because if you look at our environment in today's lifestyle, we know that the air pollution that's going on worldwide is a problem. And we are taking in only a certain amount of oxygen. So on cellular level, you only look at a certain percentage. Hence the fact that cancer is now activating all over the world, especially when it comes to women struggling with breast cancer, colon cancer. And that's where oxygen plays a big role, because cancer is to give you an example, cancer is a microorganism, so doesn't need oxygen to exist, can also not activate insufficient amount of oxygen. That's where our system is very important. Because as you sit inside of this unit, the heat's there to heat up the body in order to open up the pores, and then the oxygen can then penetrate the body. And also that's working on your cellular level, your red blood cell count, to increase that as well. Because if you increase your red blood cell count, you increase the amount of oxygen inside your system. And also the method that we use is a transdermal method, meaning with the head sticking on the outside, the head stays nice and cool, and the body from the neck downwards gets heated up. In other words, we're mimicking a fever, basically, in order to activate the mitochondria, which is your immune system. So if a person goes into a normal, like a natural fever, that's the body's way of sending white blood cells towards this virus or bacteria that's now been activated inside the body. So we're stimulating the mitochondria by means of that method.
Okay, Bridget, morning, welcome to the show. And I understand you are representing a specific charity and they are helping you promote it. What is it all about?
Well, it's actually called Insan, and it started in 2015. I started it myself when I was only 15. And at first, obviously, it was a bit of a struggle handling the charity and understanding how to start it really well. And then I started speaking with a charity that's based in France, Syria Charity. Now they focus mainly on children inside Syria, which is a bit different because most charities work with people outside of Syria. So we are basically fundraising now. They have a vaccination program that they're starting. Oh, wow. And they also help with food and clothes for the kids there. So we have quite a few different programs and projects that we're running at the moment.
And how is Brandon and the company assisting you with the fundraising of this particular charity?
Well, for each of their sales, they're actually donating a specific amount from that sale to our charity to be used in Syria.
Wow. Okay. Good luck. I do hope that lots of people are going to take this up and start supporting your company and buying. Now, you've given me a lot of information. Some of it might go over the heads. It has gone over my head as well. And probably people might not understand the concept. Break it down for me. If someone comes to you and says, what is ozone therapy? You indicated that it probably helps alleviate or helps cure the major sicknesses, I should imagine, major illnesses, but that would be in conjunction with the your other therapy that you're undergoing with your doctor. So you spoke about cancer widely. You're not suggesting that people stop their chemo and radium. They continue with that, but in conjunction with that, they go on ozone therapy. Now, do I come to? Do you have a clinic, or do you just have a, you know, a store or a offices where I come and purchase the stuff from you, take it home, and self-medicate or, you know, apply it on myself, or do you have a special spa perhaps where I come to?
Yes.
And then you give me the treatment. How does it work? And let's also look at the amount of treatments I need to undergo.
Well, basically how it works is if you come to us, we have a clinic now.
Clinic and spa.
Clinic is more clinic than a spa.
Right,
It's a treatment centre in Silver Lakes, Pretoria East. So if you're uncertain how this works, you come to us. What we do is we basically evaluate. So if you're a person struggling with arthritis, osteoarthritis, osteoporosis, gout, fibromyalgia, lupus,
almost
leukemia,
anything.
Ma'am, I can go on and on. The list is endless of sicknesses and ailments that you can treat, and you can treat yourself.
Okay.
Because the method that we use, the transdermal method, is one of the most safest ways and also the most effective way of getting this type of treatment. And I heard you earlier on say cure. We don't use cure, we only assist in the healing process of, let's say, cancer or fibromyalgia or multiple sclerosis. Because if you look at the body, each and every organ and each and every cell functions on oxygen. So if you can imagine to yourself, if you can get sufficient amount of oxygen inside of the body, obviously the organs will function better.
Can you overdose on it? Are there any side effects?
No side effects, just symptoms of detoxing, because you're going through a proper detoxing program, because that's our protocols that we provide to that certain ailment or sickness. Say for instance, a person with diabetes go on a certain protocol that he needs to follow strictly in order for us to guarantee those type of results. And
but it's the same type of treatment that you're giving to everybody. So I come to you, and let's assume I suffer from exhaustion or anxiety, and somebody else comes to you for cancer. We're both getting the same treatment with in the same time, I should imagine.
Yeah, it differs from person to person, because why some
is it tailor-made? So a person with cancer gets a different
type of protocol, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So is that what you refer to, a protocol?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
So there's a protocol for every person that's struggling with a certain ailment or sickness. So we start with a protocol 1 where we get the body used to the treatment first, and then from there on we carry on, because it's only the heat that differs from the protocol, because there's like a person with multiple sclerosis cannot sit in 42 degrees Celsius. We need to start with body temperature in order just to open up the pores and let the oxygen penetrate the body and let the oxygen do the job from there on. Further on, we can then increase the heat in order for the body to detox your lymph system, your kidneys, your liver. So that's also very important, that the detox program that we have is it's absolutely phenomenal. Because if you look at the food that we eat on a daily basis, the water that we drink, we don't normally think what we take in or what we put in our mouths, and it might not make a difference today, but it will make a difference in the future. So it's very important to get the body detox, to get the liver detox, to get the kidneys and the lymph system detox.
People might argue and suggest, well, I could go on any other detox program. What guarantee can you give me that the ozone detox or the ozone therapy is going to work? What are the type of results that I should be seeing to suggest to me that it was the ozone therapy? I could say that, you know, my meds were up this week or last week, and that is why I'm feeling better, perhaps, not realizing that it was the ozone therapy that made the difference. So do you have specific markers or that indicate that it is the ozone that is working?
Yeah, well, if you have one of these systems, we suggest you put a white towel underneath the chair. So the moment you start detoxing, we have a detox color chart that indicates where your body has been detoxed. To give you an example, if you go to bone-related incidents like arthritis or osteoporosis, that will show like an orange color of the body detoxing on the white towel. It might not show the first session, but definitely it will do, let's say 5 sessions, you will start seeing a color residue coming out of the body. So there, that will indicate that the ozone has done its job properly.
So you, just by looking at the color residue on the towel, you'd be able to pinpoint exactly what has gone wrong or what that person's ailment was, and the body is now rejecting all of the poisons or toxins from that part of the body.
Exactly.
Talk to us about other colors.
Well, there's like a greenish, yellowish color that will indicate the kidneys being detoxed. Black is a very common color where the colon gets cleansed. Brown is your liver. Red spots is blood clot. Like
and
you
actually see the colors on the towel.
Yes.
I've got to try this.
Yes, you have to.
How many sessions does one need to undergo to kind of almost get permanent results? You did indicate, and you've stressed it, that you're not saying it's a cure, but it is a healing process. Yes. But at least how many sessions would I need to undergo to feel better, to feel revitalized?
Well, if you're a person that's, let's say, in chronic pain, and you climb in with one session, even in one session you can feel a difference. But positively to say 10 sessions will do the thing. And after 10 sessions you will feel a different person. You will sleep better, you'll wake up better, you will have more energy levels, pain-free at the end of the day. So all in all, you're going to do 5 sessions, rest 2 days, another 5 sessions, and I can guarantee you results.
Let's go for an ad break. Okay. Amazing stuff, isn't it? Ozone therapy is what they're talking about. Let's hear more right after the ad break.
تناجي الله في صبر وترجو رحمة تسري فعاش القلب إخلاصا وصرت تحو.
Turn your house into a home with Africa Paints and our exclusive home range. Available in high cover, PVA, ceiling and tough roof. We've got you covered from ceiling to floor. Quality, reliability guaranteed.
فكانت البئر عميقة and the well was deep. Why are we saying كانت and not كانت? Well is feminine, so it should be كانت, but because بئر is feminine.
The purpose of this course and all our other courses that have to do with the Arabic language is we want others to taste the flavor in the Quran Kareem.
تعانق دمعة الفكر تناجي الله في صبر وترجو رحمة تسري فعاش القلب إخلاصا وصرت تحو.
Ozone therapy. Our guests are Brandon Terbanche and Bridget Kay, who's just told me off air that it's her dad that introduced ozone therapy to South Africa. Because the comment I made, and the camera is going to go on to them in a minute or two, the comment I made is that they both look a picture of perfect health. Just have a look at how they're glowing. Amazing.
Thank you.
And you say this is thanks to ozone therapy?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you have a unit at home.
Yes.
Let's look at costs, because obviously people are going to be really interested in perhaps getting better. You keep talking about the type of food we're ingesting, the water we're drinking. We also know that the soil quality has really been compromised, not only here but globally. So we know that we're not getting optimal healthy foods, whether it's organic or not. So people wanting to invest in a unit like this, let's assume they come for 10 sessions, and that is what you say you need to go on.
Yeah.
What am I paying for, and what is the session going to give me? How many minutes in therapy would I be?
Well, basically, when you come to us, we go through everything with you. We go through the protocol with you. We discuss the specific ailment or sickness that you're currently
struggling with. So you take my medical history?
Yes. And we adapt according to that. So if you go for sessions, normal price for 10 sessions, 1,600 Rand. But we're currently running a special now for ITV viewers that goes for 1,200 Rand for 10 sessions. So what happens is you come to us, we explain everything to you, and a session is only 20 minutes. Okay. 20 minutes in and you're out. And
what if I want to stay longer? I like the feeling, for example, I'm relaxed. I want to stay in longer. What happens then?
We get that a lot. Well, my machine's quite flexible, so if you want to stay in longer, yes, you can just switch the ozone off, because ozone only takes 20 minutes to do its job, so to flood the system with oxygen.
So if I remain longer, it's not going to do me any good, but it's not going to do me any harm?
Not at all, not at all. But we suggest 20 minutes a day keeps the doctor away.
Okay.
Yeah, I've always used that. But yes, you do 5 sessions, rest 2 days, do 5 sessions again. And that's the only way I can guarantee you results. If you come in do the sessions correctly, and then after 10 sessions you can feel a massive difference. And if you look at purchasing your own unit, a complete unit like this, with a 2-year warranty on the system, goes to 23,000.
What does the unit comprise of, and what does it look like, and is it going to take up much space in my home, my room or my bathroom?
Depends on where you're going to set it. We prefer like a private area, because when you climb inside this machine you are completely naked. Because of the skin being the biggest organ of the body, we want to expose as much skin as possible. So if you have a big room or a big area which you do not use, that's the perfect place to put that machine.
How big
so
is it?
The machine, you look about 1.2 square meters altogether, and then you have 2 components on your right hand side which can come close to one another, and then a component on your left hand side. So all in all, you look about, if you have a space of 2 meters in diameter, that's perfectly fine.
Okay. Any electricals or batteries or anything that needs to go with it?
Yeah, no battery use, it's only electrical. If you look at the steamer is exactly the same as a kettle that we use on a daily basis. The ozonator and the concentrator pulls the same energy as a bulb. So it's only 3 plugs that you need to have. You plug in your ozonator, your concentrator, and then your steamer, and that's it. And there's no running cost on the system. The only thing you're going to refill on it is your water for the steamer to create the heat. Further on, technology has been on our side now recently, so there's no oxygen to be refilled. The ozonator creates its own oxygen by itself, and also the concentrator creates its own oxygen.
And the home unit cost?
The home unit, which I just spoke about, is going for 23,000 Rand.
Okay, wonderful. And
all included.
There's a 2-year warranty on it. What could go wrong with it if you are offering a 2-year warranty?
2-year warranty, like I cannot sit here and explain to you and tell you that this machine will never ever break.
A machine is
a machine, it's been made by humans, so we do make mistakes. We're not perfect. So if we order 1,000 units, there might be some faulties on the unit. So hence the fact we have a 2-year warranty to assist if there's something electrical going wrong. We just replace that product, as simple as that.
Perfect. Bridget, what else can you, seeing that your father was the person who introduced this ozone therapy into South Africa, what can you tell us? And you have childhood memories of this.
Yes, definitely. Every season before winter, I would basically use ozone as a preventative for flu. So I rarely have flu, maybe once or twice every 5 or 6 years. And that is basically what it was used for things like chickenpox as well, to minimize the symptoms. Even if you already have flu, using ozone within about 3 days, it can completely clear up the symptoms as well.
And as far as age groups are concerned, I'm thinking little children, I'm thinking of very old and frail people. You know, is this kind of a cut-off age, because we don't want to expose them and get them perhaps sicker than they actually are?
Well, ozone is completely, it's not harmful. So if you look at a child with the age from 14 years and up, it's safe to use. It's safe to use. But we've treated children under the age of 14 years with consent from the parents. And also, yet again, we use a specific protocol for that child with his specific ailment or sickness that he's struggling with. Also, ADHD is a big factor that's going on with the children nowadays. And we've got positive results on treating those children.
Wow, wow. Apart from ADHD, what else can you claim that the ozone therapy has helped in the healing of the person or the patient?
Well, it's over 200 different ailments and sicknesses, especially common things like high blood pressure, low blood pressure, diabetes type 1, type 2. We look at skin disorders such as psoriasis, acne, stuff like that is very common nowadays in our community. So there is where we get very positive results, and also including all the other different ailments and sicknesses.
You spoke about psoriasis and acne, and both of you have the most amazing skins.
Thank you.
Absolutely gorgeous. Would you claim that perhaps it's the ozone therapy?
Yes, I mean, a lot of people think if you, let's take acne for example. Everybody thinks on the outside, because it shows on the outside, it's not in the inside. You need to cleanse your body, you need to cleanse your lymph system, you need to cleanse your liver, your kidneys. The moment you clean those organs, obviously they function better and they can detox the body on a normal way.
Smokers, we know that people tell us how detrimental smoking is to the health.
Yes.
Can one kind of get and I know that you've emphasized you don't claim to cure people, but if people start using ozone therapy for smoking, possibly even for any other habits that they may have, illicit drugs, alcoholism, or whatever, can that assist them in the healing?
Absolutely. I mean, if you look at the way the body detoxes, that assists with the symptoms of the withdrawal symptoms. So if you look at a guy that smokes 50 years, if he leaves cigarettes immediately, that guy will go off his head, because the body is so used to the nicotine and the tar, and it's used to function with the nicotine and the tar. So this unit assists with cleaning the body and also reducing the withdrawal symptoms, whether it's drugs, whether it's cigarettes, whether it's alcohol, any type of drug abuse or any type of addiction, it assists with the withdrawal symptoms.
Have you had success with addictions?
Oh yes, absolutely, yes.
That's
if there was one person in Cape Town that was addicted to heroin, and we treated that person for 35 days.
Wow.
And each and every session he took, you should have seen the white cell that was underneath the machine.
What color was it?
Black, completely black, covered with black.
Okay guys, I could sit here talking to you all day about the amazing effects of ozone therapy. I have to give it a try.
Okay.
And of course, much luck with the ozone therapy and the spa.
Thank you.
As you've heard, obviously a special for ITV viewers, a 10-day treatment is going at a special rate. Give us a shout and we will put you on to the company. But of course, as we were talking, their details were scrolling on the screen as well. But please feel free to call us at any time. We will pass the information on to you. That's all we have time for. Thank you for being with us. Loved being with you this morning. And don't forget, we're back again with you on Saturday at the same time. A big shout out to the hardworking production team. Till the next time, as always, it is Khudafiz from me, Julie Ali.
قلبي على جمعة الخير هلا، حني قلبي على جمعة الخير هلا، يا هلا ويا هلا ويا هلا ويا هلا، يا هلا ويا هلا ويا هلا ويا يا هلا ويا هلا ويا هلا ويا هلا، يا هلا ويا هلا. تذكر يوما كنت تعانق دمعة الفكر، تناجي الله في صبر وترجو رحمة تسري، فعاش القلب إخلاصا وصرت تحو. يا لا 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 يا مرحبا باللي جونا وهنونا، يا مرحبا باللي جونا وهنونا، بحضوركم نسعد يلي لفيتونا، بحضوركم نسعد يلي لفيتونا، يلي لفيتونا.